Hello and welcome to the Corona Yoga Challenge, and today is day 54. Please check my website for health stuff. Not sure which way it goes, health stuff, and other useful things like quizzes, other videos, classes, and make sure you've got a mat so that you're nice and safe, and do subscribe if you want to get updates of the videos regularly. We are going to start by coming into all fours. So if you want to bring yourself to a nice comfortable position for you on the floor, make sure that you've got a mat because we're going to be coming up onto our elbows, so it's really important that we're nice and safe. So you're going to be starting by sliding your weight back and forth, just nice smooth movement through the spine, thinking particularly of releasing the lower back across the back of the sacrum, so this area of the back, as your hips come back. And then once you've done that a couple of times, starting to notice the slight drawing back of the tummy as the hips come back. And hopefully that happens naturally, but for some people it doesn't. So if that doesn't happen naturally, as your hips come back, just slightly draw back through the tummy so it starts to remind your body of the movement that it's going to learn to remake again. And then you're going to bring yourself to comfortable all fours. If you've got long sleeves on, you're just going to slide them up, so that when you're down on your mat, you've got good contact between your elbows and the mat. And the mat's important for this one because we definitely don't want to be slipping. And I'm just going to take my hands just lightly together, so my elbows are going to be narrower than my shoulders. So I'm not having my elbows out here. This has a kind of slip risk. So your elbows are slightly narrower than your elbows. Elbows are slightly narrower than your shoulders. Hands are gently interlinked. Really important your hands stay soft. As soon as this sort of thing happens and we get tight through the arms, it starts to lock up through the shoulders, so keep soft through the hands. So with your elbows comfortable on the ground, you're going to have your feet just that little bit apart. We're going to slide our weight forwards and back. As your hips come back, press into the elbows to lift up with the hips. So we come into elbow dog pose. And you're just going to get the feeling of that little lifting up for the moment. So lift up through the tailbone. Press gently into the elbows so that we get increased feeling of lift. And then soften your knees, come down to the floor. Let yourself rest for a moment. And as you rest, you just notice your breathing, you notice how you're feeling in this moment. And you're noticing how that pose worked for you. So how did it feel for you, and where do you want to go with that now? It might be you want to stay here and just lie here, or rest in child's pose a bit longer. It might be you want to come up to do another one. For those of you wanting to come to do another one, if you bring your elbows back and onto the floor. Same thing, hands are just gently interlinked. I could have done with sticking my hair away for this one, but I've not done, so we will continue. Hair all over the place. Sliding your shoulders forwards and back, so hips are sliding back towards your heels. As your hips come back, press down into the elbows, lift up with the hips. And then from here, you're going to lift one leg up and you're just going to extend it up towards the ceiling. So you're going to get a feeling of lifting up, and we're trying to stay nice and even between the elbows. And then bring your foot back down, bring your knees down, rest your head down. Take a wide breath into the back of your body. And then we're going to come up to do the opposite side. So hands are just gently interlinked, elbows are fairly narrow. We're going to slide the hips forwards and back, so nice smooth movement. As the hips come back, press into the elbows to lift up with the hips, get that feeling of lengthening up. And then opposite leg is going to lift up, so you're just going to extend up towards the ceiling and then focus on nice and even between the elbows. You're going to bring your leg back down, foot finds the floor. Knees find the floor, and rest down to child's pose. And this time, if you bring your hands round beside your feet so that you can soften the shoulder blades down towards the floor, so we go really soft and round through the back of the body. If you have your forehead facing straight down so that your neck gets a nice even stretch. You're going to take your hands onto the floor. You're going to press into your hands to bring yourself up to kneeling. You're going to let the shoulders settle down the back of the body and just take an easy breath in. We're going to come up to standing now, so you're going to tuck your toes under, you're going to lift up through your hips so we start to get that length through the back of the legs. Soften slightly through the knees, take the elbows onto the thighs and fold forwards comfortably. So the whole of the back of the body needs to be comfortable as you do this. And then bend through your knees, lift up through the pelvic floor of the tummy, let your hands come all the way up and overhead and then down to your heart. So you're going to bring yourself to standing, so just a comfortable, steady standing pose for you just now. So just let the weight settle between both feet, let the hips very slightly settle back, so we start to get a little feeling of lifting up and underneath the tummy and underneath the rib cage. We're going to do a balance pose now, so just make sure you've got a bit of something that you can take your hand onto so that you feel nice and stable. So we're going to come to dancer pose, or a variation of it. So you're going to take one leg up to the front, and then you're going to slide your hand down your knee. So it might be that it just stays onto your knee and we come into this sort of pose. It might be that your hand comes lower down your leg and you can fold your leg back. It's just whichever is going to be better for your body. For this, you can also stop the video and take a belt, stick it round your wrist, round your ankle, so that you're just holding, giving your leg a little bit of support. Just whatever's going to work best for you. From here, you're going to let your hand lift up and overhead. Shoulders going to move down the back of the body. You're going to lean yourself slightly forward, so just a tiny little incline, so that you're feeling nice and steady and just comfortable and breathing out, remembering that support at any time. And then from here, you're just going to let your knee come out towards the sides, which we don't normally do. Normally we keep the knee from the front close in, but now we've got the knee coming out towards the sides. So we're actually letting it come out to the sides. And then you're going to bring yourself back to the centre and let your leg come down, so back to even. We're going to come to the opposite side now. So first of all, make sure you've got your support. Leg is going to come up to the front. From there, you're going to slide your hand down your leg and see if you just want to fold it towards the back. Free hand can float up and away from your support if that feels comfortable. Lean yourself slightly up and forwards, so slightly up and out, and then think about that knee coming out towards the side, so you've got that little bit of work going on through the hip as well. So less stretch through the front of the thigh, more work into the hip. Bring your knee back down to the centre. Settle your foot onto the floor. Come back to even standing. We're going to come to the floor now, so if you want to bring yourself to sitting, and do take a block or something to sit on so that you're going to be nice and comfortable. So from here you're going to take one leg, so make sure the lower back is lifting up. So if you've got the kind of curving through the back of the body, or your back just feels in neutral, do something, whether it's a block, whether it's a block, whether it's the knees bending, so that the lower back can lengthen up. It's also important that the lower back is the kind of start of where the spine is growing from, so we need to get it right to be able to let the rest flow. So from here you're going to take one foot and you're just going to set your leg across your body. So it might be that your foot is close down beside your ankle, might be it's towards your knee, it might be it's closer up, but you're just going to set it somewhere comfortable. And somewhere comfortable might be a little bit back and forth, so that your leg settles onto your knee without kind of making the muscle feel a little bit odd if it hits it in the wrong place, or the bones and the muscle hit in the wrong place. So find a comfortable place for your leg to settle. And then you're going to take one hand onto the floor. You're going to start to ease yourself round. So we're lifting up with the rib cage, spiralling round, and then slowly, gently easing your head round if it feels good for you. And then very, very smoothly bring yourself back to the centre. Take both hands onto your legs. Ease yourself forwards. Just again to wherever your body wants to move to right now. Keep it soft, keep it easy. Let your body be happy. I'm presuming you're doing this earlier in the day. If you're doing it in the middle of the day, you can go a little bit more exciting, depending on what your activity has been so far. So other leg's going to come onto the top now. So you're just going to settle it onto your leg again, wherever this leg wants to be. So you're just settling it on, hands going to rest onto your leg, and then you're going to lift yourself up and round. So we keep the pelvis nice and even, but we're lifting up with the rib cage, we're spiraling round with the ribs to lengthen through the spine as we come round. Bring yourself back to the centre, hands rest onto your legs, gently fold forwards. Just a nice easy way so your back muscles start to lengthen out a little bit and this longer leg gets a little bit of a release as well. Bringing your hands up your legs, take that leg all the way out in front and choose if you want to have a little stretch or a little play with your legs. And then if you come to a position where you can do a little bit of breathing, so you're just going to find a happy place for you. So from here you're going to just settle to start with, and then we're going to do our easy sips in and then ujjayi out. So it's a little breath in, and out. So that's the pattern that we're going to use. So with the ujjayi breath, just think about that soft, easy breath out, and if you know how to do it and feel confident with it, go with the ujjayi as well. So in, and out. And again, in, and out. And again. And last time. So my challenge for you today is to think about an area of your body that you would like to look after a little bit better, or is telling you it wants to looked after a little bit better, and to Google that area of your body, so whether it's shoulder and yoga, go to images, find a yoga pose, ideally go to somewhere like the yoga journal, and just have a little look about what you could do to help your body with this area. Bearing in mind, when these things are written, usually they're written as if somebody's taught them really well to you. So I'm just wondering if my advice is going to be helpful or not. It's an idea anyway, so just think about some area of your body, see if you can find a yoga pose that you could do that would feel good, or when you do it feels good, and can support this area. Thinking not, if you've got a sore shoulder, for instance, try not to find something that looks like, like this. Try to find something that looks a little bit more like an easy movement, because it's so important that the muscles are releasing, and then gently work into the more exciting moves. So that's my wee challenge for you today. Let me know how it goes, because I've not done it myself yet, so it could be fun. My quote for you today is from Iyengar. Yoga does not just change the way we see things, it transforms the person who sees. Yoga does not just change the way we see things, it transforms the person who sees. So, nice thought for the day. I hope you have a good day. I hope you enjoy a little bit of outside time somehow, and that you're feeling well or well enough. Thank you.